It seems to many that famous people never just die normal deaths. Because of the profound impact they have on so many, their deaths are often shrouded in endless conspiracy theories and mystery. Famous people who died mysteriously. It's deep, fat fried.
Deep fat fried.
Mysterious death. What makes a death mysterious?
Mysterious!
If there was a mustachioed gent standing nearby in a trench coat, that adds a little air of mystery to the death, doesn't it, Dame?
The circumstances of their death is a mystery. No one truly knows.
What's going on here?
If the death should happen on a foggy night, that adds a touch of
gentleman
mystery.
is TJ? You know who this is?
This is Edgar Allan Poe.
The death of Edgar Allan Poe.
And then I heard a rapping, a rap tapping upon my chamber door.
That's too, I mean, I don't know.
It was raining in Baltimore on October 3rd, 1849. But that didn't stop Joseph W. Walker, a compositor for the Baltimore Sun, from heading out to Gunners Hall, a public housing bustling with activity. It was election day, and Gunners Hall served as a pop-up polling location for the 4th Ward polls. When Walker arrived at Gunners Hall, he found a man delirious and dressed in shabby secondhand clothes, lying in the gutter. The man was semi-conscious and unable to move. But as Walker approached him, he discovered something unexpected. The man was Edgar Allan Poe.
No.
Yep.
Edgar Allan,
no! Laying in the gutter.
In shabby secondhand clothes, nonetheless.
Yeah. Worried about the health of the addled poet, Walker stopped and asked Poe if he had any acquaintances in Baltimore that might be able to help him. Poe gave Walker the name of Joseph E. Snodgrass, magazine editor with some medical training. Immediately, Walker penned Snodgrass a letter asking for help. And we actually...
I love when there's like an emergency, like, I'll pen a letter right away.
Right away, sir.
Yes.
Baltimore City, October 3rd, 1849. Dear sir, there is a gentleman, rather the worse for wear, at Ryan's 4th Ward polls, who goes under the name of cognomen of Edgar A. Poe, and who appears in great distress. He says he is acquainted with you. He is in need of immediate assistance. Yours in haste, Joseph W. Walker, to Dr. J. E. Snodgrass. On September 27th, almost a week earlier, Poe had left Richmond, Virginia, bound for Philadelphia, to edit a collection of poems for Miss, I guess, Saint? I don't know how what would you say that?
Saint, dude.
I guess. I don't know. That's probably wrong. Leon Loud, a minor figure in American poetry at the time. When Walker found Poe in delirious disarray outside of the polling place, it was the first anyone had heard or seen of the poet since his departure from Richmond. So basically that week is unaccounted for. No one knows. He never made it to Philadelphia to attend his editing business. Nor did he ever make it back to New York, where he had been living, to escort his aunt back to Richmond for his impending wedding. Poe was to never leave Baltimore, where he launched his career in the early 19th century. In 4 days between Walker finding Poe outside of the public house and Poe's death on October 7th, he never regained enough consciousness to explain how he had come to be found in soiled clothes, not his own, by the way, inquiring on the streets. So no one knows. Instead, Poe spent his final days wavering between fits of delirium, gripped by visual hallucinations. The night before his death, according to the attending physician, Dr. John G. Morrison, Poe repeatedly called out for Reynolds! Reynolds! A figure who, to this day, remains.
Did Guy really have a fucking attending physician named John G. Moran?
Moran.
It's Moran, but yeah, basically.
Oh, man, that's fucked up, bro.
Yeah.
Can I get a second opinion?
Maybe if he'd had, like, you know, Lucius von Smart Guy or something.
Yeah.
Doctor of smartest and awesome.
I'll tell you what. This sounds like drugs were involved to me.
Gotta take some drugs.
This sounds like it sounds like old EAP here fucking showed up to like an opium den or something, got fucked up, probably got fucking rolled by some people. Maybe got fucking a little bit too high, got fucked up on some drugs. They fucking stole all his good clothes, threw him in a set of shabby secondhand shit.
I mean,
threw him out on the street.
Almost sounds like a story that Poe himself would write, does it not?
I mean, I don't know. Does it?
Could be.
The only one I ever read was, I read two. I read The Telltale Heart, and I read The Cask of Amontillado, which is basically the two everyone's read.
Dude, The Cask of Amontillado is the shit, though.
That is a pretty cool one. There's all kinds of like little like winks, you know, in there, like where like the fucking killer like says shit to the guy that pretty much tips his hand.
Oh yeah, he can't
like,
help
doesn't know
but
what's going on.
He never. But the guy's too focused on getting to taste this rare wine to like get all the hints.
Take me to the Amontillado.
But the official cause of death was listed as phrenitis, or swelling of the brain. His brain swelled too much.
His brain was too big.
And of course, the mysterious circumstances surrounding his death have led many to speculate about the true cause of Poe's demise.
I think it was fucked up on drugs, man. Took some fucking bad acid or something.
So obviously, brain swelling. Many people have discussed alcoholism, but actually, an interesting thing about that is that they don't really believe alcoholism played a role because he had really like given up alcohol, according to most accounts, and he actually gotten close to people in the temperance movement. And they've done some testing, and they just were not able to find any good hints.
I think it was that temperance what killed him.
People that quit alcohol, they fall off the wagon all the fucking time, bro.
It's possible.
Dude, it sounds like old Edgar here fell off the wagon real hard and went walking around, you know, all ashamed.
And that's believed. That's believed to be a possibility too. I won't say that's not
for sure.
But I mean, so beating is one of the primary methods. So in 1867,
well, was he covered in bruises?
Well, listen.
Okay.
One of the first theories to deviate from either, phrenitis or alcohol was published by biographer E. Oakes Smith in her article Autobiographic Notes of Edgar Allan Poe. At the instigation of a woman, Smith writes, who considered herself injured by him, he was cruelly beaten, blow upon blow, by a ruffian who knew of no better mode of avenging supposed injuries. It is well known that a brain fever followed. Other accounts also mention ruffians who had beaten Poe senseless before his death. As Eugene Didier wrote in the 1872 article, The Grave of Poe, that in Baltimore, Poe ran into some friends from West Point who prevailed upon him to join them for drinks. Poe, unable to handle his liquor, became madly drunk after a single glass of champagne, after which he left his friends to wander the streets. In his drunken state, he was robbed and beaten by ruffians. They use ruffians. And left insensible in the street all night. So basically he was fucked up really bad and just like died slowly.
I mean, they'd have noticed if he had like nothing in the letter that was sent was like, I have found your friend beaten to the fuck out of or whatever. And like the attending physician was not like, clearly he was beaten. You know, like it seems like if he was beaten up, people would recognize the signs of a fucking beating.
I mean, he might have gotten clocked by somebody. Drunks often do like pop off and get popped in the mouth or whatever the fuck.
Maybe he fucking got knocked one good one in the face and fell back and hit his fucking head or something.
Another theory about Poe's death is rabies. We'll get that one next, TJ. Rabies. And they said it's very similar because Poe died about 4 days after being found. They said if you contracted rabies, that's about how long it takes for most people to die when they contract it. And they do get delirious and have fevers and all kinds of shit. So that is another theory about his death.
Another one's called a rabid weasel or some shit.
Dude, maybe Poe was into like getting like he was like, I'm gonna go fuck a bat or something. Like Randy Marsh from South Park. You know, Poe's like, it's time for some bat fucking. You know, and he goes to the little bat fuck hut. But then the bat bites him. He gets rabies. The bat. Next thing you know, dead.
I don't know about that, TJ.
I don't know, but maybe.
Bit by a bat he was trying to rape. Happens to the best of us. You know how it is.
Sure, TJ. You know what cooping is, TJ?
It looks fucking not good. He was cooped.
Others believe that Poe fell victim to a practice known as cooping, a method of voter fraud practiced by gangs in the early 19th century, where an unsuspecting victim would be kidnapped, disguised, and forced to vote for a specific candidate multiple times, under multiple disguised identities.
That would explain why his clothes were different.
Yeah, voter fraud was extremely common in Baltimore in the mid-1800s. I mean, of course, now as well. It's not just saying. The polling site where Walker found the disheveled Poe was a known place that Coopers brought their victims. The fact that Poe was found delirious on Election Day then is no coincidence. Over the years, the cooping theory has become to be one of the more widely accepted explanations for Poe's strange demeanor before his death. Before Prohibition, voters were given alcohol after voting as a sort of reward. Whoa, sweet. Had Poe been forced to vote multiple times in a cooping scheme, that might explain his semi-conscious, ragged state.
I mean, it wouldn't explain why he just fucking upped and died a few days later, but I mean, I guess it explains some elements of the story better than others.
But
though.
You know what, TJ? Ultimately, the answer is no one really knows.
Nobody fucking knows.
What a mystery, TJ.
Wait,
I hate mysteries. I want to know.
You can't know.
I want to know.
You can't know. That's the point, TJ. You'll never know.
You'll never know. What's past is past, TJ. It doesn't exist anymore. Can't see it. Can't travel to it.
How about another mysterious death, TJ?
All right.
Surely you know who this man is.
Yep.
No, who is this?
TJ?
It's the Lizard King, dude.
Mojo Rising.
Yeah, it's Mojo Rising, dude.
You guys don't know who this is?
It's Jim Morrison.
You don't know who it is, TJ? No, it's not Jim Morrison, dude.
It's it's not.
Cobain, you dipshit.
Yes.
Oh, it's Kurt.
Yeah, duh.
Sorry.
He's from the 90s.
So, TJ, it's going to hurt you in the beginning here, but let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Because no autopsy was ever performed. The truth about how Jim Morrison died in his Paris bathtub at age 27 has remained a mystery for decades.
Dude, he was a druggie. He was drugged up as fuck.
No one truly knows, Paul. It's one of the last known photographs of old Jim Morrison here.
He's looking pretty rough.
No.
Who's that fucking weird kid, though?
Yeah, he's not looking
all
up.
Damien.
I don't know who the fuck that is, but Jim Morrison's looking rough here.
He looks like
He
he's
looks
going
bloated.
through some weird, like, yuppie phase or something.
Yeah.
Like,
His
why
head's
would he be dressed
bloated
like a
up. He looks
yuppie?
like almost Elephant Man-esque, you know?
Yeah, he's
Getting all
bloated. His face all bulgy.
Oh, man, you guys are mean.
He's getting bulge face.
Yep.
He's starting to you can really just tell that like his fucking rock and roll lifestyle has started to catch up with him at this point.
He's paid the rock and toll, dude.
It definitely has.
Because he's only 27 and he looks like he's in his mid-30s.
All the partying shit he did as well. I mean, extensive touring, partying, drug use. I mean, just a cavalcade of bullshit. On July 3rd, 1971, rock icon Jim Morrison died at the age of 27 in Paris. 27 Club. The untimely demise of the Doors frontman stunned the world and left his fans devastated, of course. But the questions surrounding Jim Morrison's death have endured for far longer than that little tiny bit time we got him here on Earth. Officially, of course, the official story, whatever that means. Officially, he was found dead in a bathtub in Paris by his girlfriend, Pamela Courson. French officials said that Jim Morrison's cause of death was heart failure without conducting an autopsy. Before the world knew what had even happened, he was quietly laid to rest in Paris's Père Lachaise cemetery. To some, it seemed like a sad end to a long downward spiral. After all, Jim Morrison had struggled with his fame and addiction for years, culminating in an event in Florida, a Florida concert. I think Jim Morrison was channeling the spirit of Florida Man, where he had allegedly, he showed his dick. And, of course, he used profane language while doing so. Charges, of course, he denied. And so it seems that Jim Morrison and his girlfriend just fed up with the rock and roll lifestyle, fed up with stardom, fed up with fame. They're going to move to Paris, which they did in the March of 1971. And it seems there he found a measure of peace. He wrote every day to friends. He actually appeared happy and healthy. And in photos taken during the final days alive, He looked trim and fit. Obviously, TJ and Paul disagree. They say he looked bloated.
He looked fucking bloated to me.
Yeah, he looks bloated. Look, you got your freedom to say whatever you want about his friends.
I mean, he looked like a bloated fucking 35-year-old at the age of 27.
Did you know the man? Did you know the man, TJ?
No.
Well, his friends say he looked great. He looked great.
Maybe he looked comparatively great from like some previous time.
Oh, look, he looked great. He looked great.
All right.
And so it came as a shock to most when Morrison died suddenly on July 3rd, 1971. But not everyone was surprised. While in Paris, Morrison and Corson had apparently indulged in old habits. They also frequented Parisian nightclubs like Rock and Roll Circus. And eerily, some claim that Morrison actually died at the very same club rather than his apartment. And then a massive cover-up has followed for decades. This is the story of Jim Morrison's death. Both the official and what some other people say they saw. Say witnesses, whatever. But this is what people probably made up, or whatever. Who knows? In Paris, TJ.
Gay Paris.
Jim Morrison and Pamela Corson rented an apartment at 17 Rue.
I can't wait to see you try to say this word. Beautrellis, something like that.
Near the Seine River. They spent their days strolling around their adopted city. Morrison wrote nearly every day, and during the night, the couple enjoyed exploring the chic world, the Parisian nightlife. Oh, so beautiful. Oh, guys, gotta hand it to
here.
you.
Sorry, I'm seeing the I'm seeing the contradiction already. Look at that.
Gotta hand it to you guys right here. Although Morrison had gained some weight. I mean, look, Parisian food. Come on now.
They just said he was looking fucking thinner a second ago.
Bloated. I mean, look, the food in Paris is so good. I mean, he should be getting fat.
Bloated
and fat.
He was bloated.
Fuck. He died fat and happy.
Fatter than me. Fatter than Paul.
He was
fattest man I've ever seen.
Dude. That's a different kind of bloated. We're bloated.
The last photos of him taken alive show a fit young man. Well, how's he? Did he gain some weight, or what is it?
They don't know.
They can't know. See, this is just them trying to fucking excuse it. He just died of a fucking drug overdose.
Oh, Paul, negative Nancy Paul here. The time off from his band and the demands of fame. Oh, the demands of fame are many. Seem to have done him good.
Mm-hmm.
But everything changed on that day. On July 3rd, 1971. And of course, the official account of Jim Morrison's death scene. Pamela Corson found her boyfriend dead in a bathtub of the apartment they had shared in the city. She called for help. Help! Help! But it was already too late. The French police, being the lazy Frenchmen they are, naturally had a few questions. Investigate. I guess we must ask. Especially since Morrison was just 27-year-old. I mean, he's just 27, guys. And of course, drugs. Like, it's Jim Morrison. Look.
Dude, I'm sure they found drugs all over the fucking place when they went in there.
Whatever.
Clear what happened. See, this should have been called "People Want Interesting People to Die Interesting Deaths," but usually they die fucking typical deaths, like fucking dumbass Poe.
Look, Paul,
died.
Can you prove the official story is true? There's no autopsy was ever performed. Paul.
Maybe they should. Drunk ass stumbles around in the street, fucks around and finds out and bumps his head and dies, and then fucking Jim Morrison's fucking drug addict ass goes to Paris and starts squirting heroin into his veins and shit. And suddenly he's dead in the bathtub.
Paul, that sounds outlandish to me. But Corson maintained they'd merely gone to dinner and a movie and listened to music at home before going to Betty Bye. With, of course, no autopsy reform. Corson's story taken at face value. And when she herself died 3 years later, I mean, this is just completely unrelated here, of a heroin overdose. I mean, crazy. It seemed that any other information about Jim Morrison's death had died with her. I mean, shocking. Paul says heroin, and just by sheer coincidence, she died herself.
That's a shocker, man. I wonder why that is.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
So you know what? That sounds like a plausible official explanation, but how did Jim Morrison really die?
What's the real truth?
In 2007. He took the document away. In 2007, a former New York Times journalist named Sam Burnett, who'd once managed the Rock and Roll Circus Club in Paris, came forward with an alarming story. And Burnett's telling, Jim Morrison did not die in a bathtub. Oh no. Instead, according to his book, The End, Jim Morrison claims.
Man, anybody fucking... You ever notice that all these motherfuckers with some kind of crazy claim always have some book?
Of course.
That is shocking.
What do you think that's about?
I wonder why that is. Here's the real truth. So I wrote a book about it.
He claims this. Jim Morrison, so this is claimed that the Doors frontman had actually died in a toilet stall at the Rock and Roll Circus.
Okay.
While in Paris, Morrison had spent countless nights at the venue, often alongside Corson, his girlfriend at the time. Well, on July 3rd, 1971, Burnett allegedly saw him meeting up with two drug dealers before he headed to the bathroom around 2 a.m. When he failed to reemerge, Burnett heard a bouncer kick in the door and only to find him unconscious. Burnett alerted a doctor, a regular at the bar, who confirmed Morrison was dead. Sad. The flamboyant singer of the Doors, the beautiful California boy, had become an inert lump, crumpled in the toilet of the nightclub, wrote Burnett. When we found him dead, we found a little foam on his nose and some blood too. And the doctor said, this must be an overdose of heroin. As shocking as that might seem, Burnett is not the only person to tell a story. Writer and photographer Patrick Cheval recalled many of the same things. He was tending bar that night and suddenly found himself helping carry Morrison up a staircase. With no ambulance called, Cheval believed Morrison had died already or passed out from various substances. I think he was already dead, said Cheval. I don't know. It was a long time ago, and we weren't only drinking water. Burnett maintains that the two drug dealers at the scene insisted Morrison had just fainted. While Burnett wanted to call an ambulance, he was soon warned by his boss to stay silent. Ultimately, he believes the drug dealers carried Morrison's body outside and drove him home, dumping into the tub as Corson slept.
It's pretty, there's a lot of unnecessary steps there, you know? He died in the nightclub, but then the two drug dealers drove him to his house and threw him in the bathtub, all while his sleeping girlfriend was none the wiser.
I guess there's another widely accepted account or whatever that's supposed to mean. Let's see here. It said Jim Morrison's death that he and Corson spent the night doing heroin and listening to music together or whatever. They snorted the drug because Morrison was reportedly afraid of needles. Unfortunately, that particular batch of heroin was too strong for Morrison. So, he just took too much. It was too strong of a dose, and it killed him. However, many specific details of the night remain unclear, including how the rock star got into the bathtub. One theory claims that...
He climbed in?
Yeah.
Climbed in it?
Here's how he did it. I know how he did it.
How did he get in there?
It's all like, I'm going to
How did he get in the bathtub? Really? My fat ass can get in the bathtub alone, so there you go. He crawled in it.
He climbed into the tub.
No, the theory claims that she helped put him in there, hoping a warm bath would help alleviate his symptoms.
Okay.
After he died, she supposedly waited until morning to notify authorities and feigned ignorance about his drug habits. In the years since then, some conspiracy theories have even gone so far as to accuse Corson of intentionally playing a role in Morrison's death.
Probably not.
I mean, did she inherit anything from him?
Well, she didn't live that much longer. I mean, I'm assuming she probably did.
If she did, she didn't benefit very long.
Yeah, even if she did, it didn't last very long. And yet another wild rumor claims that Morrison took heroin by mistake the night because he thought it was cocaine. Sounds like Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, he had a Pulp Fiction moment.
And of course, the fact that they never, ever performed an autopsy. And of course, endless speculation and people trying to cash in on books. We'll never know.
Why the fuck didn't they do an autopsy, though? That's what I don't get.
Look, TJ, we saw what you said. We saw everything we need to see, TJ.
I mean, honestly, from what I imagine, they probably found him in the bathtub, like all rigged up with a needle in his arm and shit and all the accoutrements and shit like that. Like, I'm fucking... Like, look, dude. He OD'd. Get over it. You know what I mean? Now, Kurt Kurt was murdered. No doubt.
No, I don't know, man. I don't know.
He was curtered.
I mean, you're saying all these things, Paul, but we never know the truth. Like I said, no autopsy was ever performed, Paul. I mean, now you're saying, oh, it's clear as day. But if you show me that smoking gun, if you show me that proof, you show me that evidence right now.
I'll go dig his corpse up right now.
Yeah, go dig his corpse up right now. I want to see it.
And I'll run a fucking heroin test on it. I bet it lights up like a Christmas tree.
Testing and shit, too. We'll fucking have some fucking Tesla coils and shit going.
Yeah. I will reanimate his body right now and fucking get the truth straight from his mouth. Did you OD, you piece of shit? He'd be like, He'd be like that bitch in fucking Return to the Living Dead. Is like, yes. Give us the heroin. Give us the heroin now.
We have another one, but I think it's probably too long for this one. So, yeah, this will be this for this time. And next time we'll cover Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix?
A lot of questions about that one. Another mysterious death, but we're already...
You're 4 minutes shy of the fucking runtime, Scotty.
Well, too bad, TJ.
You got to fill some time.
All right, what do we do?
Sing and dance, Scotty. Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. Send me a kiss by a while. Baby, my heart's on fire.
We can go longer if you want me to read this one. I don't care.
No.
Then
no, Scotty, I don't want you to do that.
That's the length of it, TJ.
All right. I guess this one's a little bit shorter than normal, but hey, we covered the things we need to cover, so fuck you. Bye.
No malarkey, Jack. Back in my day, we didn't have any entertainment at all, except for the old Scranton village elder. He only had 2 teeth. But that guy had a million stories. I ain't joking, Fat. We'd sit in the cold every night to hear him tell the tale of the cat he ate once. Nowadays, what with the mobile pages and the web phones and Netscapes and whatnot, it's hard to figure out what even to watch. Most days I'll just surf AOL. Lost, Jack. How do I click off the page? Why are there so many browsers open? It's all too goddamn much if you ask me. Now listen, Fat, I've got your solution. It's called the Pessimist Productions Patreon. You can click the link below and bam, all the entertainment you need, Jack. It's like Willy Wink, you know, the chocolate factory thing. Hundreds of exclusive shows. I ain't kidding. Exclusive streams, more news. You can't go wrong. So cancel that AOL. Join the Pessimist Productions Patreon now. Don't wait, or you'll be sorry, Jack.
Deep bad pride. Deep bad pride.